Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Around the Town with Chuck. My name is Chuck Guglielmo. It is a weekly interview show where we talk with interesting people in the community. And as I said last week, this week we're going to continue previewing PartII Spartans football, which is just around the corner. Of course, we are taping the show at July 17th, so practice hasn't really even started yet. The boys last week told me that practice starts the 31st of July.
That's great.
Yeah. We have Joe Rakowski, senior, and Nathan Lauer, a senior. First thing I want to do is look at it. This is last year's program. So number 5 here, Nathan Lauer, going into your junior year, you're listed at 5'11", 195. You're bigger than 5'11", right? What are you now?
6 foot.
6 foot?
Yeah.
How about the weight? Still 195 or more?
I've put on about like 15 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. And then Joey Rakowski, number 78. 78. Last year going in, you were at 5'10", 270. Has that changed any?
That has. I'm now 6 foot and I'm 276.
Okay. So welcome to the show. And we're all excited about another season of PartII Spartans football. Do you two know that you have something you can accomplish this year that hasn't been accomplished in PartII since the early 80s? 1985 was the last time it was done. Do you know what that is?
Yes, we do.
What is it, Joey?
Going to the playoffs.
Well, yes, we hope that can happen, but it's something else.
Five season winning streak.
Yes, were you listening to the other two boys?
No.
They didn't have a clue. Yes, this will be, it's hard to believe, 34 years since a PartII football team has had a chance to win 5 years in a row. And before that, it was the 1950s that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So a good thing there. So, Joey, let's start with you. Is it Joey? Yes, Joey Rakowski. Got to get that down. Good Polish name.
No.
No?
Lithuanian.
Oh, okay. All right, I got fooled. Joey, going into this season, now this is you've played all 4 years
Yes.
under Coach Rocco Dobrin.
Yes.
Going into this season, what might be something you're looking to improve upon in your game?
I've looking through my game film of the past season, I felt I played slower, and I feel like I need to pick up my speed in the game and just play a little faster off the ball, faster in my blocks.
Mm-hmm. You're on the offensive line and the defensive line. Do you prefer one over the other?
I prefer offensive line.
Why is that?
With me, offensive line is more of a mental thing. You have to know your plays, and you have a general idea of who you're blocking and how you're blocking it. Whereas on defensive line, you don't know what they're doing. You have no idea what their play is, how they're going to be blocking, if it's a pass or a run. And I just always felt a little more safe with the idea of knowing who I'm generally going to be blocking and what my general job is.
Mm-hmm. Of course, Rocco's the head coach, but who's the coach for the Lions?
For offensive line, our head coach is Bill Lips, and then our defensive line, it is Jeff Appleby.
Jeff Appleby, okay, not Aaron Joslin.
No, I believe he's our defensive back coach this year.
Yeah,
okay. Is that new for Aaron this year, or is that what he's always been?
He's always been around the linebacker, defensive back area, yeah.
Okay. Nathan, what about you coming into the season for you? What is there that you want to do that you haven't done in grades 9 through 11?
Well, I need to get faster so I can be able to outrun.
Faster? You had that big interception at the sidelines. I thought you was going to run it all the way back.
Well, I would have.
Big highlight for not only Nathan, big highlight for me to call too.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that for a minute. I mean, I know I've asked you that question before. How thrilling was that for you? And were you nervous because you caught it?
It was just really exciting, and as soon as I got it, I'm thinking about running and just get to the sideline, because that's what Coach always tells us to do. Whenever you get the ball, get to the sideline.
What'd you run it, about 25, 30 yards back?
Yeah.
And
I think it was
was that the Titusville game?
Yeah.
The thrilling game.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Not only was Nathan excited, but the whole sideline was excited. I didn't play a lot of defense last year, and I played a lot of offense. And just being on the sideline and watching Nathan catch that was thrilling for everybody. Mm-hmm. Everyone was excited.
Of course, practice doesn't start until the 31st of July, but you guys went to football camp?
Yes.
Yep.
Nathan, talk a little bit about football camp this year.
Well, it was interesting because I had a sprained ankle and I still played hard, but I woke up really sore most of the days, but I still kept going and just kept playing. And it was really fun being able to just hang out all day pretty much with all my football players. It was a really fun experience.
Joey, what are some of the things you do at camp? That's a 3-day thing?
Yes, we were there from Monday through Wednesday afternoon.
And this was where?
Hiram College, Hiram University.
Okay. Other teams there, local teams?
Not local teams, no. They were other teams from around the state. I don't quite know the areas, but I know a few of them, or one of them at least. But for football camp, what I've noticed, it's a big learning thing. It's a big learning thing for the younger players. For the older players, it also seems to be more of a rinse and repeat kind of thing because you're learning some of the plays that you've known for the past 3 years, 4 years. But no matter what, it's always good to get that refresher, and it's good to relearn everything. And for just being there around everybody, being in that aura of football oriented for 3 straight days, it helps boost the team morals too.
Brand new spanking jerseys this year. Those are cool. Nathan, you're not number 5 this year?
No, I changed my number to 24.
That's your basketball number,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Reason for change?
Well, number 5 was kind of small, and I figured this was 24 for my basketball jersey too, so I might as well match it up.
Okay. And last year was the only year you were number 5 though, right?
Yeah.
Your brother was 50.
Yeah.
What were you in the 10th, the other grades?
63.
63. Those are really cool jerseys. I like them a lot.
I agree, lots of room.
Yeah. So what do you think the strength, of course you haven't had practice yet, but going into the season and from what you guys know, what do you think, Nathan, the strength of the team might be this year?
It's going to be pretty strong. I mean, we have a couple guys down and injured right now, but once they get back, they're going to be ready to go. And
Who's injured?
we have Jay Gree out with a knee injury, and some other sophomores with an arm injury, and then I was out for a little bit with my ankle. So we should be pretty tough this year.
Of course, Nathan also plays varsity basketball. Do you play any other sports?
No.
You had told me last year, should I say this, that you actually like basketball better than football, which really stunned me too, Joey. It really did. Do you still feel that way?
I kind of do, yeah.
I love both sports, but I mean, I found that a little bit interesting because you look more like a football player, although you're a
Yeah.
great rebounder in basketball as well. What about you, Joey?
I think one of our strengths this season is going to be our run game. I'm wholeheartedly set on that.
And who are our runners this year?
From my standpoint, our runners right now, this is looking like, is Michael Williams. He's going to be a junior this year. We know his name from big games. And then Seth Fedor.
Yes.
He played a lot of defensive back last year, and this year he's playing more. He's playing defensive. He's playing outside linebacker, and he's playing halfback. And I think it's a good fit for him. 2 very fast guys.
So the lines are going to be great.
Our offensive line, I think it's going to be awesome.
That's, they always say the quarterback is the name of the game, and it is. But without a line.
And the thing is, our line, we have, as it looks like right now, we have 5 seniors that are all going to be offensive line starters.
Oh, this is exciting. It's
is
like
very
I want to
exciting.
start kickoff tomorrow night.
I'm excited.
And we have 2 tight ends that are there for blocking too. So it'll all be...
Running a lot of double tight this year with 2 tight ends.
Now, last year we had Eric Heinonen. Is it Eric? Yeah, that was the kicker. Who do we have this year in that area?
It's a rough area right now. We don't exactly have a name on one, so we're leaving that up to Coach Talbacca. That's his general area of special teams. So
Is there a chance that we might be going for 2 points rather than 1, or do we still got a good kicker in place?
We might.
Eric was a great kicker.
I agree. Eric was a very nice kicker, and we could always rely on him no matter the situation. Just at the moment, I'm unaware of the situation, so that's all Coach Talbacca's area.
Of course, Tyson Hunt is gone. He was a great quarterback, one of the best in the District 10 and in Ashtabula County. Do we have people running for that, trying out for that position?
We definitely do. Right now we have 2. They're going to be sophomores this year, Brandon Smile and Rylan Davidson.
Both sophomores.
Both sophomores. And they're the 2 candidates at the moment. they've both been working extremely hard in this off season, and they're working extremely hard this summer to prove themselves to coach.
Oh, that's what it's all about, working hard, right?
Competition, that's what you have to have.
Nathan, as you look back at last year, is there any one game that comes to mind that stood out for you as the best game you played? Joe, you're going to get that same question, so you want to think about that.
I have to say Titusville.
The thrilling, that was my best game too to call, 28-27 thriller. Didn't we win at the end?
Yes, we did.
On a 1 point conversion.
They
missed it.
Yeah,
that's what it
they
was.
went for 2. and
They went to try to win it rather than tie it, right? Yeah. So that game stands out for you. What about you, Joey?
Mine, I think, has to be Mercier's prep. Because at week 2, I had started at guard instead of it. Because I didn't start week 1. And at week 2, I had started at guard. Week 3, I started at center, and it's been changing positions. And then when I got to Mercier's prep, that was my second game starting at center. So everything kind of just like it folded in a little better. Having a second week at the position, it gave me a little more. I don't know what the word is quite, but it made me feel a little safer in the position, knowing it, having more time at it.
You mentioned Mercyhurst Prep Lakers, the boys I had on last week, said that might be one of your stiffest competitions. Do you agree?
I definitely agree.
Nathan, do you agree with that too?
Yeah, I do too.
What was it like for you guys to share a conference? The very first year you're in a conference, that had to be thrilling. Joey, share some of your thoughts on that.
That's extremely thrilling to go from honestly, I don't know, but how many years we went not in a conference?
8 or 9 years.
8 or 9 years, not in a conference. Because Coach Rocket, he told us this last year, and I've kind of kept this with me. Because for those past 8-9 years, they didn't really have anything to fight for besides the playoffs. And now this year we can fight for the playoffs, which is what everyone wants to do. We always want to get the playoffs, and we're fighting for the playoffs, and we also get to fight for the conference. And it just gives you a little extra something to work towards, a little something happier to go for.
Of course, the best way to get to the playoffs is 10-0. But you don't have to necessarily go 10-0. Sometimes you can go 9-1, maybe even 8-2. But I would think you would have to have at least 8 victories. You have one new team this year that you're playing that's not on the schedule, Rootstown. Nathan, you know anything about them?
I have no idea.
No clue. Joey, do you?
I've looked into them a little bit. They have a similar record to ours. It was 6-4, and they play Cleveland area teams mainly around there.
Are they the same size as a Spartan team?
I believe
in
so.
terms of numbers?
I think they're Division 4 as well.
Okay. A lot of freshmen and a lot of sophomore joining the team this year. That's good when you look down the road. Nathan, now being a senior, you were there as a freshman. Of course, you had a brother, JJ, you could get advice from. But if a freshman came to you, looking for some advice, what might you tell them?
I'd tell them that it's football. You got to be tough. You got to man up. Just because you get a bruise, you can't quit or anything, and you got to play fast and aggressive. Always running around. Always doing anything you can to prove yourself. The coach.
Joey, what about you? A freshman came to you and wanted some advice. Do you have an older brother?
I do.
Did he play football?
1 year in 8th grade. That was
okay.
it.
All right.
He was in marching band. Advice I would have for a freshman or any young player is work ethic. You have to work hard, and it's all about working hard in practice, off the field, especially in the weight room. After practice, staying after, running routes, just taking handoffs, or even snapping the ball. Just any extra work you can put in, or any kind of it's all about your work ethic and how you want to work. Because if you really want it, you got to work hard for it.
Working hard and, of course, being determined. You mentioned the weight room. Obviously, you guys go into the weight room. That helps make a solid football player. What are some of the things, Nathan, you do in the weight room that get you ready for the season? And when did you start going into the weight room?
Well, I started going to the weight room roughly around the end of basketball. Got right back into it, and then the stuff we do is we don't just focus on chest or legs. We do all around exercises to get all our muscles, everything you can think.
Hard work in the weight room?
Yeah. We usually do some finishers for abs.
What about lifting? Do you have to lift a certain amount, or you work your way up? Or?
Coach, he prefers us to work around form. It doesn't matter if you're using extremely heavy weights. As long as you're doing it the right way and doing it with the right form, you're fine.
Explain that to me. What do you mean, form?
It's all about if you. I don't honestly I don't know how to explain it, but if you're doing lifting in the right form in the right way, it makes your muscles more stressed, or how you would say, and it makes it harder on you, and makes it easier on you, but it makes your muscles grow.
Work hard.
It's like working harder. It's
Sure.
yeah.
Talking with Joey Rakowski and Nathan Lauer, Spartan football players, both seniors here and around the town with Chuck. Back to the weight room for a minute, Joey. Do you have to go, or is that voluntary?
Throughout the entire off season, Coach started it. I think it was about 2 to 3 months after the season ended. He had completely non-mandatory weightlifting, and he started this on a program that it's all if you wanted to go, and it just worked around every muscle on your body practically. It was not just strengthening with your bench press and your squat and your power clean, but that plus every single muscle in between.
So if you wanted to be a good, solid football player, it would behoove you to go into the weight room. Core values. Coach Rocco, who I love a lot, when he first came to Connet, stressed 4 core values. He stressed faith, family, education, and football, with football coming fourth. Nathan and Joe, you'll get the same question. What do those other 3 values that he stresses mean to you? Faith, family, and education.
They mean a lot. I mean, you gotta be able to have faith when you're in football, because if you don't have faith, then you don't believe in yourself, and you won't be able to get anything done. You won't be determined. And family means a lot too. You gotta have people to support you, and people to be able to get you where you gotta go. And education, you gotta have good grades to play football, and you gotta be able to be successful in life, and that's how you do it.
Joey?
I'm gonna start off with family. Family, they're always there to support you with the choices you make, and when you're in a sport like football is a very all-around sport. It takes up a lot of your time and a lot of dedication, and you need to have your family behind you and with you to do it. Faith, I'm a very religious guy, as in myself. I believe in God, and I believe that he's there for me, and he's helped me through all this. And education everyone thinks football is a completely physical sport, and it's not. Don't get me wrong, physical is a very big aspect of it, but it's also a mental sport, an extremely mental thinking sport. And if you don't try in the classroom, it's going to make it harder to be out there on the field. And back to what Nathan said about having good grades, you have to have a certain grade point average to play.
And that point grade average would be what?
I believe it's like a 1.5.
Okay, so like, what is that? Would that be like a low C?
Around there, I think.
When you go into the season this year, expectations, I believe, are going to be high. Based on what you're telling me, the lines are going to be good. Should have some good runners, a little competition there for the quarterback position. What are some of the other parts of the football team? Talk about the coaching staff a little bit. That's what I'm trying to get to. I know Tim Talbaka, he's your head basketball coach. What's he like as an assistant football coach, and is he part of what you have to listen to?
Yeah, I mean, he's a good coach. He always pushes us hard, and he always makes sure we're doing it right. If we're not, he gives us like up downs and makes us work even harder than that.
And he's a high-strung type coach versus Rocco, who's more low-key, right? Aaron Joslin, what about him? He's high-strung too.
Yeah, kind of. He wants us to work hard. He always makes sure to explain what we're doing, make sure we're doing it right, and all that good stuff.
Bill Lips.
He's our offensive line coach, and also he does linebacking as well. And he's a very forceful coach. I don't know quite how to say it, but he cares about us, and he wants the best from us, so he works us hard.
How about the vocal one, Teddy Johnson?
Coach Teddy's just a great man to have around the program, a great coach.
He has been with football and basketball since he played, since he left back in the 80s. That's how dedicated he is to Conneaut Spartan sports. Good guy.
He always has
highly competitive. Do you think being highly competitive for you, Joey, gets you going?
I I'm a very competitive guy as myself. I've always been competitive when it came to things, and having somebody like Coach Teddy around who's also so competitive, it helps fuel your fire a little bit.
What about you, Nathan? Do you try to keep a low key, or are you more of a high competitive type player?
I'd say I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not like that competitive, but I'm a good competitor.
Kind of keep things at an
Yeah.
even keel. Talking about playing in District 10, do you miss not being able to play some of the local teams in the county, like in Edgewood and St. John or PV or Jefferson?
Most certainly. We've played with like PV and Edgewood and Lakeside and just local teams since we were kids. Ever since we were small kids, 7th grade or CLYO, we've always played with these teams in these other cities. And now we're going to play teams in Pennsylvania, and it's not a bad thing. It's just that it's a little different and unfamiliar. That's the right word.
Yeah. Nathan?
Well, it's exciting to play like new teams like you have no idea about. Like you can just like get in there and you know what you're doing and stuff. But I do miss like playing like Edgewood and all those in PV and too.
Of course, you have a little bit more advantage than Joey because you played those teams not only in football but in basketball as well. Joey, I don't know if I asked you, do you play another sport?
Not at the moment, no.
You do not play another sport?
No.
So as you go into this season then, Joey, what would be one thing that you think the team now, not you, the team might need to improve upon to beat that Corey team, to beat that Grand Valley team?
I think we need it. I want to say experience. We have a very young team. We have our 9 seniors and we have juniors, but a lot of positions on our team are relatively young. And once they get in that game 1 and that game 2 and that game 3 and they start feeling what it really feels like, I think they'll be good.
Nathan, what about you?
I agree with Joey. Our team is really young, and right now, like they're still learning. They're not like fully there yet, but they'll learn. And I myself, right now, am learning a new position that I didn't really play last year. I'm playing inside linebacker this year, and it's a lot of new stuff I gotta learn.
Okay, how do you like that?
It's fun and challenging, but like it also can be like I gotta know what I'm doing. I gotta like focus and be able to prepare for game 1.
Does it make you a little bit more nervous, or?
Yeah, a little bit.
Even though you're in the 12th grade.
Yeah.
What else, Joey, about this year's team? Now, freshmen, we got a lot of freshmen this year. They will play not only varsity, but I would assume that they would play some junior varsity as well.
Yes, sir.
Do they have to split the time there? Because JVs still play on Saturdays?
JV plays on Saturdays. Well, we have a relatively small freshman class. We have a larger sophomore class. And a lot of sophomores and even some juniors will be playing JV and some varsity. You can go from what I believe, it's like you can play 5 quarters of football total. So if you play 1 quarter of varsity football, then you can play 4 of JV. Or if you play 2 of varsity, then you can play 3 of JV. So it all depends.
Nathan, those core values that we're talking about, faith, family, education, and football, does Rocco mention those at all during practice time, during the regular season? Does he mention it after defeats, after victories?
Yeah, he mentions it all the time, pretty much, probably like every day.
When he's mentioning it, is it because somebody failed to follow it, or just because he wants to keep it in your heads?
Yeah, sometimes kids mess up, and sometimes he's just reminding us all the time.
What about discipline? The Spartans under Rocco Dobrin have been pretty disciplined as far as making mistakes on the field. I know one game you had a lot of mistakes. That's uncharacteristic of the Spartans. That's how you guys stay in a lot of games, by limiting those fumbles and interceptions.
Coach, not just Coach Rock, but our whole coaching staff. We're blessed with a great coaching staff, and they all know how to teach us what we need to know.
Well, this has been fun. Joey Rakowski and Nathan Lauer, my guest today, County and Spartan football players. We're looking for another good season. I think you're going to have a winning season. That'll be 5 in a row.
Yes, sir.
And this will be Rocco's. I think he's going to be starting season number 7. So good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Nathan Lauer and Joey Rakowski, my guests today on Around the Town with Chuck.